Welcome back to A Pearl in Every Cowslip Seer. This is CLE Language Arts 600, Book 1. This is raw footage right from the classroom. I hope you enjoy. Okay, grade 6, lesson 13. Compound sentences, run-on sentences, clauses, some review. What are 7 coordinating conjunctions?
For, and, nor, but, yet, so.
Good. What are the prepositional phrases in these sentences? We rode the train to Idaho.
To Idaho.
To Idaho. And what's the object of the preposition there? Idaho. Good. And in the next sentence, 3 of our stops were in Montana.
Of our stops.
Good.
Montana.
So we have Montana and we have stops there. Okay, for the new lesson, starting out, we need to talk about what is a clause. Do you know what a clause is?
Like, it's 2 sentences that are connected by a conjunction.
Okay, that's what a compound sentence is. Good, you're going further. But a clause is something like this. The dog barked. Good. It has a subject and a verb. Let's back up even further. What is a sentence? A sentence is a word that... A sentence is a group of words that expresses a complete thought. Good. Now, a clause is a group of words that has a subject and a verb. It doesn't even have to express a complete thought. It can be something like this. The dog barked. Or it can be just plain dog barked. That's not a sentence. It's no complete thought. Here we have a complete thought. But as long as it has a subject and a verb, it is a clause. So learn that definition of a clause, as long as it has a subject and a verb. And we can join 2 clauses together with a coordinating conjunction and make a compound sentence. The dog barked, the cat ran. Okay? If we put the dog barked, comma, and the cat ran, we end up with a compound sentence. Why? Because this is a clause that we'll learn is independent. It can stand alone. The cat ran. The dog barked. Those can stand alone. They're equal. The dog barked. The cat ran. They're complete thoughts. They're independent. They can stand alone. And they're clauses joined by a coordinating conjunction. Let's find here are the clauses. Mr. Spencer planned a hike. The weather was rainy that day. Let's find the subject and verb in each clause, though. What's the subject and verb in here, Mr. Spencer? Good. Mr. Spencer planned, and what over here?
Weather was rainy. Oh, no, what?
Weather was. And what is a coordinating conjunction we can put in there?
But.
Okay, but the weather. So we'll put a comma, but the weather was rainy that day. Josiah threw the ball to Simon. Simon threw it to home base. What can we join them with?
And.
Good. And then lastly, whenever we start making these long sentences, it gets exciting. And in fact, it makes your writing interesting if you can use bigger, longer sentences. Not bigger, but longer sentences. You can make your writing more interesting, but you have to be careful not to make run-on sentences, such as this. Josh raced from home base, he didn't quite make it. It's too much. How do we fix it?
Period.
Good.
Capital letter.
So we could go period, capital letter. Or we could go, Josh raced to home base, comma, but he didn't quite make it. And that comma gives us enough of a break in there. It's not a run-on sentence anymore. It's just a compound sentence. We need to talk about how to diagram them a little bit. Let's do this. Josh raced to home base. He didn't quite make it. Let's diagram that sentence. Put it down here if you can see it well enough. What's the verb in the first part?
Raced.
Raced. Who or what raced?
Josh.
Josh. And where do we put this to home base? What is that?
Under Josh. No, under race.
Good. It's a prepositional phrase. To base, home base. Now, we write the other clause underneath. It's just as equal, it's just as strong as our first clause. It's also independent. We'll talk about it being independent later. But it's also independent. And so we just go down here. What's the verb in this part?
Did make.
Did make. Who or what did make?
He.
He. And here we're going to put our not. And I guess we put direct object it. Is that how we do that? Didn't make it. we're gonna call it a direct object. He did not make it quite. Quite also goes under here as an adverb. Now, we put the but on a dotted line, connecting the verbs. Always connect the verbs. Dotted line down, straight line over, dotted line down. And the reason we want this little straight line in here like this is because it helps us to know that these clauses are equal. This one's just as important as this one. They can both stand alone. So we'll put our coordinated conjunction platform there. Okay, carry on with your lesson.